Hi everyone, welcome into Cypress tutorial. Today in this tutorial, we are going to learn how to test post and delete API using Cypress. We will see how to send data to the server using a post request and how to delete data using a delete request. Step by step in a very simple way. So let's begin. First, create a new test file. Right click on E2E, new file, and then enter the file name here. API dot sci.js. In this example, we will use this website to perform the post API request and delete. First, click on post. As you can view in post API, we need to send the request. In the request, we need to send the name and job, and we will get the response 201 with success message. So let's begin. Open VS Code. First, add the reference. Reference types is equal to Cypress. Now, add here describe request API put comma and then callback function. Inside this, we will add the test case here. First, define the base URL. We need to define the base URL. Const base URL and then enter the base URL here and then enter here semicolon. Open Chrome browser and here you can view in the request. This is the complete request for put. Scroll down and here you can view update. In update, we are getting 200 response code. Click here, copy this complete, and here one thing we need to be noticed here, we can define the base URL here. Base, this is the base URL, and then create the test case inside put and then enter here update user. In the pull request, we are updating the user record. So here we will enter the test as name update user and then call back function here. In the post, we need to define in the request method. Method is put and then enter the URL. We can format the document, right click and here format document. Now, first we will define the method here. Sci dot request method is put. So here we will enter method, remove all these lines. Method is put comma and then enter the URL here. Here we will define the URL. We can enter this base URL and then enter the path. For now, enter the complete URL here, complete URL, comma, and then we define the header. As you can view, when we hit this API, we need to enter the API key, missing API key. So we need to define the API key in headers, and then enter the key. We can get the API key from this URL, copy this complete X API key, and then value of key inside this headers. Enter the comma here. Same as well, we need to enter the comma here and enter comma here in the key. Now we define the URL header. After enter the API key, we need to define the content type, and the content type is application JSON. Content dash type application slash JSON. Now enter the body data, body. Inside we will enter the data. You can view in the post request, we need to send some data. Click on put, and this information we need to send in our request. So here we will add in body section. Right click here and then format the document. Remove this bracket. Same as well, we need to remove the bracket from here. Now add some assertions here, dot, then inside we will enter response and then callback function. Now add the expected response code. We are expecting 200 response code. So here expect response dot status dot to dot have 200. We are expecting 200 response code, and we are expecting this data in a response. We can change the name here, QA, comma. Same as well, we can change the job here, software engineer, comma. We do not need to enter the comma here. Enter the double quote here. Now we are expecting this name and job in a response. Expect response dot body dot to dot have dot property and then enter the name and job. Name, comma, name is QA, so here we will enter QA and then we are expecting this job in a response, which is software engineer. Expect response dot body dot to dot have dot property, and this is job. So here we will enter job and then enter the value here. Value is software engineer, comma, and then bracket here. Now we can run our test. Let's run the test and see what happens. We can format the document. Right click here and format document. Here we need to change the URL same as well, expecting response code. We are expecting 200. So here we need to define dot equal and change here expected to expect. Now we can run our test. Before running the test, format the document and enter the command here npx cypress. We can open this terminal by clicking on here view and terminal. Now run the test. First the Cypress is opening, and then we need to click on configure. First we will click on configure and then select the browser. Click on start E2E test in Chrome and select the file. As you can view, the file name is API. So here we will click on this file. Your tests are loading. Request, but we are getting error here expected. So make sure save the file and run again test. You can view assert expected 200 to equal. We are expecting 200 and the actual result is 200. This is the assertion. Expected object name job to have property name. We are expecting this values name and job. But one thing need to be noticed here, we are not getting the log in the response. So we can use here site.log json dot string by and then response. Let's save the file and again run the test. Test is running, and here you can view. Now we are getting the complete response. Let's again run the test. Now we are getting the complete response. Now we will see the delete. Open the Chrome browser and here delete API is available. Scroll down. Click on delete. In the delete, we are getting 204 response code and this is the URL. Same as well, we need to enter the API key for delete API. So here we will add another test case. Here we will enter test case it delete API, comma, and then callback function. Inside this, we will enter the test case. As you can view, This is delete API. So we will enter sci dot request method is delete. So we will use here delete method delete comma and then enter the URL here in this code. Copy this complete URL and put here. After defining the method URL, we need to enter the header here. Headers here. We will define the headers. Here enter comma. Now error has been gone. So we can use this API key and content type application JSON. Enter here content type and API key, right click, format document. Now we have defined the method URL headers. After defining the headers, we will add some assertions here. Dot then response. Inside we will add the assertions. Here we need to define the callback function. Now we are expecting the response status code is 204. As you can view, if we hit the delete API, we will get the 204 response code. 204 response code. So we are expecting 204 response code. Expect response dot status dot to dot equal 204 and then print the log by using sci dot log json dot string file and then response. Enter the bracket here, round bracket here. Now we can run the test. Right click, format document, save the file, and Cypress will automatically run the test. As you can view, both test case has been passed. In the test body, we are getting the response. Here you can view delete 204 and assertions 204. We are expecting 204, which is equal to actual result, and this is the log. That's all for today tutorial on post and delete request in Cypress. I hope you found it helpful and easy to follow. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to SQ World for more testing tutorials.